Please listen carefully.
Hello, universe. Welcome to the Optimist Daily Update. I'm Ariel Tienko.
And I'm Amelia Buckley.
And we are part of the team behind the Optimist Daily, making solutions the news. We bring you reader-funded solutions news every day in order to change the tenor of news media, social media, and the direction of your day to help get us focused on what's going right in the world.
7 days a week, except for Christmas, we publish positive news stories written by award-winning journalists and delivered online to your inbox and through our social channels. And also, we are sharing these solutions in a commute-worthy, walk-worthy, home office-worthy, almost the holiday-worthy podcast. Today is Wednesday, the 22nd of December, 2021. Hey, Ariel, how are you this morning?
I'm doing great. This evening, actually, in Amsterdam. How are you doing this morning?
I'm good. I always mix that up. You're like, it's actually almost 5 p.m. where I am.
It's a bit gloomy today, but as usual, just trying to brighten up the house, get the Christmas lights all glowing and light some candles.
Nice.
But yeah, just looking forward to the break. How about you?
Me too. Honestly, I'm back in California now. It is a little gloomy here too. It's actually raining here. It looks like all week there's rain in the forecast, but we need that pretty badly in California. So I'm not complaining about it, but it is nice to be home because I'm home for the holidays. I didn't decorate it all back in Montana, but my mom's, got the Christmas tree going and all of the candles, and she's a big cook. So she's been like cooking up a storm. So it's nice to be home.
Sounds festive. Yeah.
Yeah. My dad is kind of a Grinch, but it's nice to be with him too. But he doesn't have any decorations.
It's good to have that balance, though.
Yeah. So your plans for the holidays, because this is the last day that you're going to be on the pod before Christmas, so we won't talk to you again. But are you planning on cooking anything exciting? I know you're at home for the holidays in Amsterdam, but are you going to make anything delicious?
To be honest, I'm not much of a cook. I think if people had listened to the podcast before, they would know this about me. I still haven't taken up the challenge to cook something.
Okay, is your partner cooking anything delicious though?
Yeah, for
like
sure.
A takeout holiday.
I think actually since we're watching his parents' dog, they've actually left a bunch of stuff in their house for us to feast on. So I think I'll be well fed for sure over the holidays. And I know you're kind of a baker, aren't you?
I am, but my mom was a professional baker. So when I go home, I'm like not even the most experienced person in the household. So she does most of the cooking when I'm home, but I'm her little sous chef generally. But I'm going to holiday cookies and stuff to bring to our little family gathering. And then I think my partner also, he likes to cook. So I think we're going to make something together as well, maybe for the Christmas Eve rather than the Christmas Day festivities. My family always does crab on Christmas Eve. So I think we're going to come up with a creative side to serve with crab.
Oh, wow. Exciting.
That's the point.
As long as they're not boiled alive, because apparently now
No,
that's
definitely not. I'll have to share that. I'll share that anecdote over my holiday dinner and like bum everyone out.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll be like, oh, did you know these are actually sentient beings in the UK that we're eating here?
And they'll be like, oh, shoot.
Yeah. But we do crab because my sister is actually she's a pescatarian, so she'll eat crab, but she doesn't really eat meat. So that kind of inspired the shift towards seafood.
All right.
So we have got some great stories on the Optimist Daily today as we ramp up towards the holidays. Honestly, they're not holiday-oriented stories today, but I think everyone's getting a lot of Christmas content from other places, so maybe it'll be kind of a relief to get some non-Christmas oriented stories. But my headline today, I'll just jump right in. The headline reads, "Novel research could improve the quality of life of people who stutter." So this headline and this story refers to a new study or a series of studies that came out of Vanderbilt and Wayne State University, and it refers to studying basically the genetic factors behind stuttering. So the authors created a genetic architecture for developmental stuttering, and they identified new genetic variations associated with developmental stuttering, and then used machine learning to narrow down the list of phenotypes that are linked to the condition. So then they use this machine learning to create an AI tool that actually can be used to predict who is likely to experience stuttering, even if they're not experiencing it yet. So like for really young children who maybe aren't super vocal yet and you might not have noticed the stutter, it can predict whether they're going to develop one as they start to speak more and more. And it's really interesting. I suggest that everyone goes read the article because it kind of goes into more details. But one of the authors of the research paper, Jennifer Bello, writes, it's clear that in populations, stuttering is polygenic, meaning that there are multiple different genetic factors contributing to and protecting people from risk. So essentially, there's a lot of different genetic factors that come into play. And so they've kind of narrowed down a machine learning algorithm that can identify all of those. And they're hoping that this will be impactful for the 3 million people in the US who stutter and many more internationally. And they also established that there are genetic differences between stuttering and other traits like ADHD that they're often linked to. So they realize that even though it can happen in conjunction with other conditions, the genetic factors behind stuttering are actually unique to that condition, which this is cool because parents of children who stutter, they'll be able to perhaps identify that condition earlier and get them into speech pathology programs to address it earlier, which can considerably help with mitigating it as people age. So I think
wow, that's really cool.
I picked this story because I think there's been a lot more attention in both the media and in scientific research about other speech impediments. I think there's some pretty prominent public figures that have come forward lately and shared candid stories about their own experiences with stuttering and how public speaking and reading poetry and other techniques have been used to overcome stuttering, which is pretty cool. Mm-hmm. I know that President Joe Biden experienced a pretty severe stutter as a child, and he talked about kind of overcoming that during his presidential race, which he had never really shared very publicly before. So I think there's definitely more attention on it, and I think that the more attention that is given to it, the more research breakthroughs like this will happen, where they're like, oh, actually, we can identify ways to root this out pretty early and to start addressing it to maybe create better outcomes for people who experience stuttering and other speech impediments. So I think it's very cool.
Yeah, me too. I mean, like, I can't imagine, I grew up very shy and I didn't have a stutter. So I would assume that stuttering would also make people even more shy. So yeah, it's really good that there's more research coming out about this. And in some ways, I guess it destigmatizes it as well, just to have all these people come forward and say, yeah, I had this as well. And this is how you can get through it. So amazing. All right. So I suppose I'll just jump into my story. Yes. The one that caught my eye today is called Conservationists Call on Birdwatching Community to Help Find Lost Bird Species. Now, recently, I also had another bird story that I talked about on the pod, so I guess I'm just going through a phase.
A bird phase.
Yeah, I love the birds. So other bird watchers and bird lovers around the world, conservationists and scientists are requesting your help to help them find 10 species of birds that seem to have disappeared off the face of the earth. So this initiative, called the Search for Lost Birds, pretty fitting name, was launched last week as a collaborative effort between Rewild, American Bird Conservancy, or ABC for short, and BirdLife International. So the aim is to find the 10 species of birds that haven't been seen in the wild for at least a decade, but have not yet been classified as extinct by the IUCN Red List of Threatened Species. The point is not just to prove that these missing birds are still around, but also to support conservation efforts, because it's pretty difficult to protect birds if you don't know where they are. And yeah, so there's a quote from the director of Threatened Species Outreach at ABC that says, by working with partners and collaborators from around the world, the Search for Lost Birds hopes to engage the knowledge and expertise of the global birdwatching community to solve these conservation challenges. By directly reporting sightings and information through Ebird, birdwatchers and citizen scientists from anywhere in the world, that can help us find and learn more about these lost species. So what is Ebird? If you're wondering, it was a tool created by the Cornell Lab of Ornithology, and it allows citizen scientists, and specifically bird watchers in this case, to document their sightings. So right now, there are over 700,000 registered users who have reported more than 1 billion bird sightings, but none of those, unfortunately, include the 10 elusive birds on the list. Now, I'm about to read the most wanted list, but I apologize for butchering some of them, as I'm sure I will. So the 10 lost birds are dusky tetraka, last documented in 1999 in Madagascar. Then there's the South Island kokaku, last seen in 2007 in New Zealand. There's Judson cursor, which was last seen in India in 2009. Itwambwe nightjar, or oh man, I'm not going to try that one. Prigogine. Somebody correct us. Prigogine's nightjar, and that was last seen in 1955 in Democratic Republic of Congo. The Cuban kite, last seen in 2010 in Cuba. Negro's fruit dove, which was last seen in the Philippines, that's where I was born, in 1953. And the Santa Marta sabruing, last seen in 2010 in Colombia. And the Vilcabamba brush finch, last seen in 1968 in Peru. Himalayan quail, that was last seen in 1877 in India. And Sauskops owl, last seen in 1866 in Indonesia. So some of these have been gone for a while. But it would be pretty exciting, I would expect, if one of these bird watchers from around the world happened upon one of these birds. So yeah, I'll keep my eye on this story.
I might have to do some traveling to partake in this.
Yeah, I know, right? So it could be a good excuse as well to head to Colombia. Yeah, I'm trying to find this bird. But yeah, if any of our listeners happen to be going to one of these places or are already there, then get your binoculars out because there's some birds to watch for.
Very cool. And I didn't know you were born in the Philippines.
I was born in the Philippines, and my family moved to Canada when I was quite young. First Vancouver and then Toronto. So
interesting. Yeah, I thought you were born in Canada. That's very cool. Learning something new about your coworkers every single day here at the
Yeah, exactly. I guess that's why I tend to travel to tropical places, but here I am in the Netherlands, nevertheless. All right, well, I guess that's all for today. Thank you for listening to the Optimist Daily Update. We promise to continue to share positive, solution-based stories with ideas on how you can participate in this changing world and ensure it is changed for the good. We promise to cover the current events with accuracy, legitimate sources, and offer you the information needed most to chart new paths for all of us.
And please consider becoming an emissary on theoptimistdaily.com. And for just $5 a month, support reader-funded, independent journalism. Be part of the solution-changing consciousness and addressing our world's biggest challenges with a problem-solving mindset. Let's keep the Optimist Daily free to all who need it, supported by those who can. We will be back tomorrow with one more episode before the holidays.